Good day, class. Do you remember the task I gave you weeks ago? Can I have Group A to present theirs?
Good evening, guys. I'm Francis from Group 10 and I'll be presenting Rizal's trip in Hong Kong and Macao in 1888. In February 1888, Rizal was compelled to flee his nation once more because of his fierce adversaries. He was a practicing physician at the age of 27, a grown man, and a respected man of literature. In June 1882, when he first traveled overseas, he was only 21 years old, a young student seeking knowledge in the old world, and a romantic dreamer with lovely aspirations of freeing his people from slavery by the magical power of his words. The times had evolved. At the age of 27, Rizal was a frustrated reformer, a disillusioned idealist, and an enraged victim of human injustices. After just spending 6 months in his beloved Colombia, Rizal boarded the Zafiro on February 3, 1888. And he sailed from Manila to Hong Kong. During the turbulent China Sea journey, he was ill and depressed. When his ship made a quick stop at Amoy on February 7th, he did not disembark. He had 3 reasons for doing so. He wasn't feeling well, it was pouring outside, and he'd heard the city was filthy. He arrived on February 8th in Hong Kong. Rizal wrote Blumentritt a letter on February 16, 1888, expressing his resentment while he was living in Hong Kong, a British colony. Rizal stayed at the Victoria Hotel in Hong Kong. The local Filipinos, especially Jose Maria Basa, Balbino Mauricio, and Manuel Iriarte, greeted him, son of Francisco Iriarte, alcalde mayor of Laguna. Jose Sáenz de Veranda, a Spaniard who had previously served as Governor-General Terrero's secretary, followed Rizal's movements in Hong Kong. He is thought to have been hired by the Spanish government to spy on Rizal. Rizal wrote to Blumentritt on February 16, 1888. He said in the letter, "Hong Kong is a small, but very clean city. Many Portuguese, Hindus, English, Chinese, and Jews live there. There are some Filipinos, most of whom are those who had been exiled to the Marianas Islands in 1872. They are poor, gentle, and timid. Formerly, they were rich mechanics, industrialists, and financiers." On February 18th, Rizal and Basa traveled to Macau on the ferry ship Kiang. He was taken aback to recognize Sáenz de Veranda among the passengers. In his notebook, Rizal described Macau as little, low, and gloomy. There are many junks, sampans, but few steamers. It looks sad and is almost dead. Rizal and Basa stayed at the residence of Don Juan Francisco Lacaros, a Filipino man who was wed to a Portuguese woman. He was wealthy and devoted his time to growing plants and flowers, many of which were native to the Philippines. Rizal spent 2 days in Macau, where he viewed the famed Grotto of Camoens, Portugal's national poet, as well as the theater, casino, cathedral, churches, pagodas, botanical garden, and bazaars. On the evening of February 19th, he saw a Catholic procession, in which the believers were carrying unlit candles and wearing blue and purple costumes. Rizal and Basa traveled back to Hong Kong on the ferry ship Kiang. In Hong Kong for 2 weeks, Rizal studied Chinese culture, language, theater, and customs. He reported the following events in his personal journal. Noisy celebration of the Chinese New Year which lasted from February 11th, Saturday, to 13th, Monday. Continuous explosions of firecrackers. The richer the Chinese, the more firecrackers he exploded. Rizal himself fired many firecrackers at the window of his hotel. Boisterous Chinese theater, with noisy audience and noisier music in the Chinese dramatic art. The Marathon Laureate Party, wherein the guests were served numerous dishes, such as dried fruits, geese, shrimps, century eggs, shark fins, bird nests, white ducks, chicken with vinegar, fish heads, roasted pigs, tea, etc. It is the longest meal in the world. The Dominican order was the richest religious order in Hong Kong. It engaged actively in business. It owned more than 700 houses for rent and many shares in foreign banks. It had millions of dollars deposited in the banks which earned fabulous interests. Hong Kong cemeteries belonging to the Protestants, Catholics, and Muslims. That of the Protestants was the most beautiful because of its well-groomed plants and clean pathways. The Catholic cemetery was most pompous, with its ornate and expensive mausoleums and extravagantly carved sepulchres. The Muslim cemetery was the simplest, containing only a little mosque and tombstones with Arabic inscriptions. Rizal departed Hong Kong on the American ship Oceanic on February 22, 1888. Japan was his final destination. Although he disliked the food served on board, he enjoyed the ship because it was well kept and run. Once again, I'm Francis, and it's a pleasure for being here today and sharing with you about Rizal's trip in Hong Kong and Macau. It was fun. I hope you guys also enjoyed and learned something. Thank you. Goodbye everyone, and see you in my next video.